One thing that's really helped me increase my productivity has been my weekly planning session. So every Sunday at 8 p.m., I come into my home office and I come and sit at this desk and I have my notebook. This is my Era 90-day planner and obviously my two computer monitors, and I schedule my week. The reason why I do this is because I want to start my Monday by just hitting the ground running, right? Because what you don't want to do is Monday morning comes about and you don't really know what are your priorities and what are the things that you need to focus on during the week. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my process and share some tips that might help you start your own weekly planning session so that you can become more productive, you can become more organized, and you can really crush the goals that you want to crush. So the reason why I always have kind of like a blank notebook with me is because the way I start the process is I just start by writing down all of the things that are kind of like in my mind. I call it the brain dump. So that's really the first stage of the process, because I just want to make sure like I just capture everything that's been bubbling in my mind over the weekend. Some of the key things that I need to get done, the people I need to call, meetings I need to have, focus projects that I really need to block out on my calendar so that I'm not interrupted during that. So that's the first thing I do. And then the next thing that I do is I then go into my 90-day planner. So this is my Era 90-day planner. It's something that my wife and I actually created. And what I love about the planner is that it has a weekly review section. You can actually grab a template in the description below if you want to use it. It's for free. And the cool thing about the weekly review template is that it has a weekly recap, right? Where I get to recap the previous week. You know, what were some of the accomplishments? What were some of the lessons that I learned? And it gives me an opportunity to, number one, just take some time to reflect and be, grateful for the things that I accomplished during the week. The second thing is, in the lessons learned section of reflecting my previous week, it gives me the opportunity to really then think through what are some of the things that I learned that I need to improve on, that maybe I need to also figure out a process to become more equipped within that area. And then over here, right, it really outlines 5 goals that I want to achieve for the upcoming week, right? Since I'm preparing for this upcoming week, I want to set up what are my top 5 goals for the week. And it also articulates the key action steps I need to take during the week in order for me to achieve that goal. And over here, it has a notes section. So it's really gets me to think at a very high level, some of the things that I need to do to get started for the week. After I've finished doing my weekly review in my 90-day planner, right, I've reflected on the previous week. I've also taken some time to really write out what my top goals for the upcoming week are and the key actions I need to take to achieve those goals. The next thing that I do is I actually go on to my online calendar. I highly encourage that you use some sort of calendar system. It could be your Gmail calendar or Outlook calendar. Whatever is most effective for you, you want to pick one. And then you then come in and you start scheduling time for it. So for example, I would then go in and look into, my Monday to Saturday for this upcoming week, and I then start scheduling things. What I usually try to do is I start by obviously from when I wake up. I wake up at 4 in the morning and then I work out. And so I really then just schedule all of my workouts for the week to then just make it easy for me. So I will then just repeat every day of the week and then save, and then boom, my morning workout is done. That's part of my morning routine. And then the next thing that I do is I also then schedule the activities that I do after I work out. So after I work out, I take a shower, and then I have time to read and also time to meditate. I do this also every weekday. So that's kind of like my schedule for Monday to Friday. My schedule on Saturdays is a little bit different, so we'll tackle Saturdays after that. And then from 6 a.m., I start putting in the things that are super important for me. So like, let's say on Mondays at 6 a.m., I work on a business plan, for example, for one of my businesses, because it's a top priority that I need to work on. And then schedule time for my lunch. I know that I have to have a lunch break, so we'll also put it in. So you kind of like get the point. But then I start really building out my calendar based on what I've set out to be important. So like, let's say for instance, here I can then put priority number 1. So work on priority number 1, work on priority number 2, maybe put in some email time here because, you know, people have been emailing me, so I just want to kind of like get back to them. And then I have a recurring team meeting every Monday at 11. So that will already be on my calendar. But since I'm just using this as an example, you can get the point. So the idea is you then start populating your calendar, making sure you prioritize the main priorities first. You make sure you allocate time to that. If you have a call or a meeting, you put it on the calendar. If there are meetings that you're trying to set up, you set them up, you set the agenda, and you send it out. And what's interesting about doing it on Sunday, by the time you wake up on Monday, you already kind of like have a good direction, a good map of what are the things that you really want to do and accomplish for the whole week. And then what I then do is every day at night before I go to bed, I then just come back and study my calendar with a particular focus for the next day or sometimes next day or two, and just make sure that based on the events that happen today, do the priorities still align, or I need to move certain things around in terms of scheduling other work times and things like that. What I also try to do is I try to have calls and meetings after lunch. So usually after 12:30, that's when I usually like to then have calls and meetings, and try to really keep my morning up until like noonish to be time where I'm doing focused, highly productive work, because that's the time I'm super productive. So I really want to be, you know, concentrating on the things that really move the needle, right? Rather than to be distracted with so many different things. And then, you know, towards the later part of the day when I'm starting to kind of like lose my effectiveness as the day goes down, then I can start doing these things that don't really require a lot of my brain power, but can keep me super effective. So that's really kind of like how I do it. And the reason why I like doing it on my online calendar, it then syncs into my phone. So as I'm going through the day, you know, I can get alerts about a meeting that's about to happen on my watch. So it keeps me super focused and organized throughout the day. So my advice to you, you know, if you want to be a high-powered entrepreneur, have some sort of process and system to help you with some of these things. And if you have an assistant, they can also help you with this. I have a VA that helps me, but I'm just sharing this with you in case you don't, and to show you the process, how I do it, if I'm doing it by myself. So make sure you start with a brain dump. You go into some sort of planning system. I use the ThisIsMyEra 90-day system. The reason why I like doing pen and paper first is because it crystallizes your thoughts as you're writing it down, and then you go into the online calendar to do that. And then the extra step that I also do is I also then go into the daily review in the ThisIsMyEra 90-day calendar once I've worked out my schedule over here. So they have a schedule here, and you know, I then put it in, I write my notes, I write my priorities for the day. I don't do this on Sundays. I do this the night before. Remember, I was saying I do plan my next day kind of like the night before as well, because things might change. So I don't like to usually fill it out on Sunday night. I then try to fill it out the night before, because a lot of things might change and some of the priorities might change as well. So that's how I plan my week. Feel free to grab the templates for the ThisIsMyEra 90-day planner below. And also, I hope that this was helpful in helping you getting a system put together. But the key thing is you want to do it at a set time and you know, day of the week, every single week. I like Sundays because it helps get Mondays off to a good start. And I always do it around 8 p.m. before I go to bed. And that's really the system that has worked for me. So all the best in your weekly planning journey. And I hope my tips were super helpful for you guys.